Have you ever been sitting across the table from your husband, watching him scroll on his phone or chewing too loudly, and thought to yourself, wow, what happened to us? Don't feel bad. You're not alone. This isn't about falling out of love or no longer caring. It's not even something dramatic or heartbreaking. In fact, the reason this happens, as practical as it sounds, might surprise you. And once we dive into it, I promise you'll see your relationship in a whole new light. Today, we're going to uncover why so many women feel like their relationship becomes less fulfilling over the years. But don't worry, it's not all doom and gloom. We'll also talk about how to turn things around and rekindle that connection. So, grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's explore this together. First, let's address the elephant in the room. When women start feeling irritated, bored, or distant from their husbands as they get older, it's not because they don't love them anymore. It's not because men are especially flawed or women expect too much. What's happening is often tied to something far simpler, but way more impactful: the routines, habits, and circumstances of long-term relationships. Think about it. When you first meet someone, it's all excitement, discovery, and passion. But over time, comfort takes over. Routines set in. The magic of unpredictability gets replaced by the familiarity of monotony. You love each other, but sometimes, love feels like surviving life together rather than thriving in it. Now, add to that the very real challenges of managing a household, careers, kids, and life's endless to-do lists. Suddenly, the forever honeymoon phase everyone dreams of feels like a distant memory. Sound relatable? Let's start with the biggest culprit of all: predictability. In the beginning stages of a relationship, everything is shiny and new. You're learning about each other, trying hard to impress, and creating exciting, meaningful memories. Then comes marriage, and with it, routines: who cooks dinner, who takes out the trash, who drives the kids to soccer. These routines are necessary, sure, but they're also a silent romance killer. Picture this. Your husband always wears the same sweatpants after work, has the exact same dinner preferences, and watches the same 3 shows on repeat. Suddenly, all those cute quirks from the early days just feel dull. You both slip into autopilot, and before you know it, the spark that made your heart race is replaced by the predictability of sweatpants on the couch. It's not that either partner is doing something wrong. It's just what happens when the extraordinary becomes ordinary. Another big factor: the division of labor in relationships, or the lack of it. Let's be real. Women, even in the most modern relationships, often carry a heavier share of household and emotional responsibilities. From managing grocery lists to remembering everyone's birthdays, women take on a lot of the invisible labor that keeps a home and a life running smoothly. Over time, this imbalance can breed resentment. You might silently think, why am I the only one who notices when the house is messy? Or, why do I have to plan every vacation and appointment while he gets the easy jobs? While you're juggling a mental load your partner might not even realize exists, it's easy for love to start feeling like a one-sided effort. And the worst part, these frustrations often go unspoken. It's not that women don't want to share the workload. It's that they don't want to nag or start a conflict. But bottling it up only leads to more irritation down the line. Think back to when you first started dating. Remember how you'd stay up late talking about everything: your dreams, fears, favorite childhood memories. Fast forward years later, and now most of your conversations sound like this. Did you pay that bill? What's for dinner? Don't forget the kids have soccer tomorrow. Sound familiar? As life gets busier, couples fall into a pattern of transactional conversations. The deep emotional connection that once drew you together becomes overshadowed by day-to-day logistics. It's not that your partner doesn't care. Often, it's just easier to focus on tasks instead of feelings. But without meaningful communication, it's easy to feel disconnected and unsupported over time. Now let's talk about something uncomfortable, taking each other for granted. When you've been together for years, it's easy to stop noticing the little things you used to love. Maybe your husband always makes you coffee in the morning, or he folds the laundry just the way you like it. It's not that these gestures stop. It's that they start to feel automatic, like they don't count. Meanwhile, the things that once annoyed you a little, like his habit of leaving the cap off the toothpaste, now drive you absolutely up the wall. Why does this happen? Essentially, familiarity breeds contempt. You know each other so well that instead of focusing on the good, the subconscious starts nitpicking everything wrong. And before you know it, even the sight of his face during football season can trigger an eye roll. For many women, the frustration goes deeper than just chores or communication gaps. It's about emotional labor, feeling like you're the glue holding everything together, and no one even notices. You might think, I don't need a fancy gift or flowers. I just need a break, some appreciation, or a genuine thank you. When women feel invisible in their relationships, it leads to emotional burnout. Over time, the lack of recognition or reciprocation can make you feel distant, or even resentful of the person who's supposed to be your biggest supporter. Before we dive into solutions, let me say this. The fact that you're feeling this way does not mean your marriage is broken or hopeless. On the contrary, the fact that you care enough to seek answers means there's still plenty of love to work with. So how do you turn things around? Prioritize quality time. Life is busy, but setting aside even 1 hour a week to reconnect as a couple can work wonders. Go on a date, take a walk together, or just sit down and talk, without distractions. Redistribute responsibilities. Have an honest, judgment-free conversation about the workload divide. Let your husband know how certain responsibilities make you feel. Most men aren't avoiding these tasks intentionally. They may truly not realize the imbalance. Express gratitude. Appreciation goes both ways. Start noticing and commenting on the good things your partner does, no matter how small. It's amazing how far a simple, heartfelt thank you can go. Break free from routine. Shake things up. Try something new together, whether it's traveling, picking up a hobby, or trying a different approach to intimacy. Breaking out of predictable patterns can bring back that sense of excitement. Reconnect emotionally. Schedule regular check-ins to talk about how you're both feeling, not just about your marriage, but about yourselves. When you understand your partner on a deeper level, it strengthens your bond. Here's the truth. Feeling distant from your husband doesn't mean you've fallen out of love. It just means you've fallen out of sync. Long-term relationships require more than autopilot to thrive. They need intention, effort, and a sense of shared adventure. By acknowledging the patterns that create distance, you can take actionable steps to rebuild connection and rediscover the joy in growing old together. Marriage is hard work, but it's also one of the most rewarding journeys you can take with someone you love. If you're feeling irritated, bored, or even dissatisfied with your husband as the years go by, don't see it as the end of the road. It's just a speed bump. Understanding the practical reasons behind these feelings and addressing them head-on can help you reignite the spark that brought you together in the first place. Remember, love isn't just a feeling. It's a series of actions you both choose every single day. And if you're still choosing each other, then there's always hope for a stronger, happier relationship. Take a deep breath, grab your partner, and start writing the next chapter of your love story together.